51 movies across 3 channels, the bloodiest, most transgressive Horrorfest lineup yet. The bloodiest, most transgressive Horrorfest lineup of all time, and it all kicks off on August 19th. What is up, everybody? Welcome to PCP Movie Night here on Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm your host for tonight's festivities, Rockin' Robbie Bills, and welcome to Horrorfest. Now that we got the Paranormal Activity franchise out of the way, it's time to really get into Horrorfest. Like I promised you, the bloodiest, most transgressive Horrorfest lineup yet. And tonight we're talking about a movie that in 1961 was so bloody, was so transgressive that the British censors gutted the movie for almost 30 years, and we finally got the real version of it. It was the first version I ever watched. I think it finally released in 1992 or something like that. Not to oversell it, but tonight we're talking about The Curse of the Werewolf, starring Oliver Reed, directed by Terence Fisher. It's a Hammer horror film, the second Hammer film that we've covered here on the channel. Our first one was last year during Horrorfest, where we talked about Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter. I wanted to start people there, and now we're moving into deeper territory. Curse of the Werewolf is that. So with us tonight, of course, we got a wonderful panel of misfits, enigmas, and conundrums. That sounds stupid to say, but what's up, Jelani? How you doing, my man?
Hey, man, I'm proud to be about the most bloody and most transgressive horror fest ever.
Transgressive.
I love transgressive. That's such a special word.
Me and Vernon were trying to figure out the necromantic thumbnail today, and that was hard to put together. So you just wait. We're going to get deeper. We're going to get gnarlier. Speaking of deeper and gnarlier, we also got Brooks here, and congratulations to Brooks and Jelani of Go Figure Reviews for their first CBC Award nomination. So go vote for them at cbcawards.org. What's up, Brooks? How you doing? You excited to be nominated?
Yeah, I'm very excited, as you can tell.
I can tell, dude. I know what non-excited Brooks looks like, and you are super fucking stoked right now.
Speaking of super, Jerry, I'm busting.
Speaking of super stoked, this guy is super soaked to be here. It's Stu. What is up, my man, from Dr. Doom's fan club?
Station, guys. How we doing?
First time watch for you tonight.
Yes, sir.
All right. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, you know, a lot of people say the werewolf from animal to man is the missing link, but we have the missing link himself here tonight. It's Steph. What is up, my man? How you doing?
Nice.
That was a high effort transition. I ever heard one.
Yeah, I got soaking wet and he got that. That's all right though.
It happens, man. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. Speaking of the way the cookie crumbles, this man's written a comic book with a werewolf and a panel or two. but I'm expecting more out of them in the future as far as werewolves are concerned. It's Joe Corallo. What is up, my man?
It's true. Hello. And I did just want to throw in, since you mentioned that this was a censored for a long time, more censored in the UK than the US. I believe the US version, they cut like 2 minutes, but the UK version, I think they cut 5. I think it's important to put it in the context. For example, the 1990 cartoon Midnight Patrol was renamed Potsworth and Company by the BBC because they felt it was inappropriate to imply that children would stay up past midnight.
Bruh.
So when we're talking about censoring,
assholes, man.
Right?
just say it.
Yeah, just saying that the Brits are pussies. I get it, Joe. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. All right. So we're talking about Curse of the Werewolf tonight. There it is in its glorious Blu-ray edition from Scream Factory. There is a link in the description below to an Amazon site where you can help support PCP and buy this movie. Because if you don't have this in your collection, why not? The only place it was available to stream for free was Plex. You probably had to watch commercials. I'm sure that was bullshit because this movie already has some structural issues. We're going to get into all of that. But overall, I think this is one of the greatest werewolf films ever made. You know, like when it came to werewolf films in 1961, you had the Wolfman and you had the Wolfman sequels and you had Werewolf of London, right? That's pretty much what you had. You did have the werewolf in Return of the Vampire, right? But you had a certain look, you had a certain style. But this movie came out in 1961, the only Hammer werewolf film, which is a tragedy, right? Like really, like I would have loved to see them develop the werewolf story through multiple sequels like they did Frankenstein and Dracula. This was directed by Terence Fisher, who directed The Curse of Frankenstein, The Horror of Dracula, The Hound of the Baskervilles, and The Mummy. He was like Hammer's go-to guy to reinvigorate these universal monster properties, right? So for this one, they didn't necessarily go to Kurt Siodmak's The Wolfman. What they did, they went to a novel that was written in the 30s called The Werewolf of Paris, right? And they did that. The werewolf look is a little bit more like Werewolf of London, but a little bit more accentuated, if that makes sense. I think the werewolf makeup is amazing in this movie. I think Oliver Reed, this is his first starring role. I think he's amazing in this movie. I love this movie. I think it's great. It's got that Hammer quality, but it takes its time to tell the story, and it's telling a werewolf story that is different than a lot of what we get. Usually we get the Kurt Siodmak stuff from like the Wolfman, right? Where he kind of like put together all this folklore and came up with the silver bullet, came up with the full moon. He came up with all these ideas, the pentagram, and all that kind of stuff, right? In this one, since it's based on a novel that came out right before that movie, there's different mythology involved, but at the same time, it's similar mythology. It's crazy. Some people don't realize that werewolves are based on 20th century lore, right? I mean, werewolves are based on mostly vampire folklore, right? And then they kind of made it its own thing. It's kind of like a Hollywood creation, the werewolf and the rules that we know. So this may go against the grain on some of that, but I love the idea of that werewolfism is a like lycanthropy. It's a curse, right? You get that from Lon Chaney Jr. in the 41 Wolfman film. You get that, but you really get it here with Oliver Reed's performance and the idea that this dude's life has been cursed since his birth through no fault of his own, to quote the 1941 Wolfman. I'm a big fan of this movie. I've seen it multiple times. Jelani has seen it twice at least. What did you think about The Curse of the Werewolf? And you out there in the chat, let us know what you think.
Well, this was a great movie. I will say that. It's one of those things that I was surprised because I saw this last year, I think. I remember watching it and I remember it being good. And I was just like, and I forgot about it until we mentioned it again. I was like, oh yeah, we did see this. I don't know if this was on your recommendation, Robbie, or I don't know how it came up, but I watched this movie on Plex and I was like, oh my God. You know, the story it's very tragic. like it's a weird tragic, like because of the boy's parentage and how it's set up, and how the kid was born on Christmas Day. Because of these factors, he is cursed by this werewolf thing. It's not really explained other than those two things happening, that it happens, but it plays really well for me. I don't know what it is. I personally think the movie needs to be a little longer, just to delve into
Agreed.
a little bit more of the story of it, to give you an example of why Hammer films are really cool. It's not a sexy Hammer film. Like, Hammer is known to be like, Captain Kronos, man. I like Captain Kronos.
Bro, they got one woman here that doesn't have like double D breasts, and you're like, this is the non-sexy Hammer film.
This is non-sexy Hammer. Like, I think his mom...
Oliver Reed is sexy as fuck in this movie, dude. This is the sexiest werewolf I've ever seen. He's got that, like, he's got the pirate shirt, the poofy shirt that Jerry Seinfeld didn't want to wear. He's got it, like, spread open. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it's sexy.
Are you about that life? Yeah. The werewolf itself looks good. He looks great in the werewolf suit. He's very menacing, very imposing. I'm not a fan of the transformation, though. But, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Even I like the Wolfman's transformation in Universal movies, but I don't. Something about this one. I don't like the hands. His hands changing didn't look right to me.
Yeah. Well, the transformation doesn't sell so much here, but
it's not the greatest.
The emotional transformation does sell here for me.
Yeah. And it's Oliver Reed does a great performance. He's very strong. I heard this is like his first movie too. So
definitely his first starring role, man.
Yeah, his first big role,
He did a really good job. I think he portrayed the character well. I think that a lot, I mean, there's so many different themes and things that you could pull from this, and we'll talk about the themes later, but it's really sad. It's kind of, like I said, it's a tragedy. He had no control of what this is. True love could have fixed it, but he's too busy dirty macking on some guy's girl. I really think the mom should have been the girlfriend, to be honest. They should have switched those roles, because mom was smoking hot. And
in the book that this is based on, and in the original script, he kills his mother as a young lad as a werewolf, right?
Oh,
like,
man.
and in the book, I think it's even like kind of like brought up to the front a little bit that he rapes her and kills her or something like that. So
Jesus.
It was a transgressive novel.
It's very transgressive.
Apparently. I've never read it, so we'll see.
That's the most transgressive I've heard. But yeah, it's messed up. Like, I like the kills. They're very few in between. There needed to be more action in this. I think, like I said, 30 more minutes. I think 30 more minutes of this really would have sold it a lot more for me. But overall, like as a second time watching it, I really enjoyed it. I'm surprised I enjoyed it, because I took it for what it was. It's 1961. It's not going to be like the horror gore fest that you expect. It's not all the twists and turns you expect from modern horror or 80s horror, for that matter. It's not. It's different, and because it's put together well. The story's put together well, but you still need. I still think it needs a little more. But I enjoyed it overall. I mean, I took it for what it was, and I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So that's what I take it.
I agree with you, and it's a rare thing here on PCP Movie Night for us to say a movie needs to be longer.
Yeah.
Right. But sometimes we do say that, right? And this movie does need to be a little bit longer. It needs to have a little bit more room to breathe, in particular with adult Leon. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like the adult version of him.
We
needed to spend some more time with him there, I think. But still a really great movie.
Yeah, some of the stuff should have been. Yeah, some of the stuff at the beginning maybe even should have been cut out.
They spent a long time building up for this movie, don't they?
Yeah, the parents.
They're just like the parents. Oliver Reed doesn't even show up till like halfway through the movie. Mm-hmm. It's like an hour and a half movie, and 45 minutes in is when Oliver Reed shows up, right? Mm-hmm. And then when he turns to the werewolf and goes on his rampage, it does feel a bit rushed. Mm-hmm. And that could have been brought out a little bit further. Speaking of a bit rushed towards the end, Brooks, I don't know anything about your sexual life, but what do you think about the Curse of the Werewolf? Your first time watching, my man.
Well, like I really like this movie. I love the aesthetics of this movie. Like, I love the Hammer style. Like it feels like very much like a Universal horror movie, but done in color in a lot of ways. Like I love the little Terence Fisher kind of humor that he kind of sprinkles in there. And like, there's a lot I do like about this movie, but I feel the same. And I feel we should have had more time with like Leon as an adult and had him like, struggling with his curse a little more. And I feel like, if they'd have cut the parts of him as like a little boy like they could have like, gotten a lot more of that in there and it would have been better. Because like you don't get a whole lot of werewolf action in this movie until like the very end. But like what you do get is really cool. Like I love him jumping across fucking buildings and shit. It's like awesome. He's like parkouring all over the fucking
Yeah, we
place.
never saw Lon Chaney Jr. do that shit.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's more like action werewolf.
Yeah. Action Jackson the werewolf. All right.
Yeah. But yeah, like overall it's great. It does need a little bit of tweaking, I think.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. What about you, Stu? This was your first time watching. You picked it because you've never seen it. What'd you think?
Yeah, I loved it. Like, I agree. I got to echo everybody's. I don't mean to be repetitive, but I got to echo everybody's sentiments. I think we could have lopped off some at the beginning and really spent more time with adolescent / adult Leon and gone from there and really had some intriguing scenes and stories to tell. But I love the way they built the story up, from the ground up, like through generations like that. I thought that was interesting. And I thought it was a good pace regardless. I think they should have had the spotlight on a different part of the story, but regardless, I thought it was well acted. So many surprising performances throughout. The Marquez was a highlight for me for sure. Like we'll get to it, but I've seen different Hammer films and had loved some and not liked others, but it's sad that this one kind of like was one and done in the werewolf genre for them, because I felt like it could have been a whole lot better. I felt like it had a lot of good solid foundational parts, and it could have been something special and like maybe not the end of the werewolf genre for them. But overall, I loved it. I thought, again, the end of the film was what I wanted more of, but overall it was fun to visit for the first time, for sure.
Yeah. And even though like we wanted more of the werewolf action, right? All that they did to build up to that was worthy too, right? Like that whole story of the beggar going to the what was he called? The Marquis or the Marquis or whatever, like that dude, and like begging and like, I mean, and this is a thing that would really sell today in a werewolf film, but like, the whole idea about like those who have and those who have not, right? And that kind of a little bit of a theme going on there, man. I thought it was even though they could have given us more at the end, I wouldn't change anything about the first act. Like 100%. I really love the slow, deliberate nature of trying to explain the complicated series of events that led to this kid being born as a werewolf. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't simple. It wasn't like he just got bit by a wolf. Yeah. Like, he had to have a mother. He had to be a bastard. He had to have like
beggar, Christmas Day, like
on Christmas
Day,
like,
Day was bizarrely involved. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like sometimes the stars just fuck you. And that's what happened here. Speaking of the stars fucking you, Steph, this is your first watch. What'd you think about it, Link?
I thought this was a fine film. It was okay. I think it's because I've seen like the greats like already, like Werewolf in London, The Wolfman, The Best, Werewolf in Paris. No, I'm just joking. That's not the best. But it was a fine film for the 90s one. But it was okay. I do think because I've seen like better films, I might have like seen it kind of been like a cheap film. But I don't know. I like the build up, but I agree with everyone's sentiments in the same. Like they could have either extended the last half so we had more werewolf action, or they could have cut out some of the beginning because it was just kind of, it was a little slow. But Werewolf looked badass. Oliver Reed, great performance, super sexy. I didn't know that, it was like Hammer Productions, like a low budget type of operation.
Yeah, well, sort of, kind of.
Yeah, not really super low budget, right? Like, here's the story, right? So they wanted to do these two movies. One was this one. The other one was a movie about the Inquisition called like the rape of, like, I don't remember, the rape of some town or something like that, right? And they turned in these two scripts, and the British Board of Censors was like, "Oh fuck no, you're not making these movies," and they're dealing with the ramifications of Psycho, right? So they're like, "You're not making these movies." And so the studio head was like, "You're right, we're not going to make them. No problem. British censors, we're good," right? And then they go, "Oh, well, we already made the Spanish town set for the Inquisition movie." And then he goes, "We're making Curse of the Werewolf, but it's going to be set in Spain instead of Paris this time."
That's so crazy.
So that's what happened there.
That's so crazy.
And they could have just made it without bringing up the fact it was in Spain. Just take the signs down. That's it, and not say "Senor."
What, you didn't like the authentic Spanish cast?
Yeah, they were like, "Senor." I was like,
They're like the most British Spaniards I've ever seen.
It
yeah.
felt like some colonizer. Actually, he was like, "I'll take you out to the exotic bar tonight." You know what I mean? Like,
Then there's the dude whose dog gets killed, and he's like super Irish, and it's just like, what are you not even trying to hide this, man?
No. Not even a little bit.
Amazing.
Sorry, Steph. Go ahead.
No, it was good though. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as everyone else, but I thought it was fine for what it was.
Nice. Joe, you've seen this a couple of times at least. What do you think about Curse of the Werewolf?
Yeah, I'm probably a little in between, like where a bunch of you guys and stuff are, where it's like I see both sides of it, but before I get into that, someone please, we got to get a still as a like reaction, gif or meme of Robbie's face when someone's like talking about not liking a movie as much as him. Because that just like, okay, go on.
Let's slow it down. You can see that where his heart rips in half.
Yeah, it's like we need that.
We got to find that image from the Funhouse movie review. Because that's what we
hurt. That movie's trash.
You'll see my heart break in an image, man. Like
but yeah, so like that, but yeah, I really like this movie, but I don't love it, I guess, is like and it's a lot of the same points that are brought up, like the pacing is wonky. Like they end up like, not only is like the first hour of the movie like the backstory for the last half an hour, more or less. I'm only being slightly hyperbolic. It's kind of like the first 40 something minutes, but it's a lot of setup for where things go. So I don't know if this was intentional or not, but it's kind of like beating you over the head with some of the same points over and over again, where you're like, no, I know where this is going. It's Curse of the Werewolf. Like, it's in the title. Like, we're spending so long before we get to that. It's like, I know it's a werewolf movie. Like, we can.
You tell me that 38 minutes into this movie, you weren't like, holy shit, this dude's the werewolf?
And like, so one of the things so this movie either needed to be like 70 minutes or like 2 hours and 15 minutes. Like, it's like one of those kind of movies. Like, one of the things that, like, for me at least, that make the Universal monster movies something I rewatch more, a lot of it's the runtime, because those are a series of movies that are like 80 minutes. Whoa, why we gotta be wasting people's time for 80 minutes? Like,
yeah. 75 guys, come on.
75, and that's pushing it. Like, but yeah, it's like, so I think this movie would have benefited greatly by either being in and out, like a tight like 75-minute movie, or being longer, where it's like that like first 40 something minutes of setup, and then you get like a full like hour 20 or so of like where it's going. It feels, and I don't like, this is nitpicky in a way, but it's also like I think it's partly because the sets are so great. The acting, the script is really good. Like all of these elements, the costume, just everything. So it makes you, it benefits the movie, but then it's also like it because it tricks you into thinking it has a bigger budget than it is because of all of those elements. So a lot of it feels very small, even though it looks great. So there's a lot of stuff where it's like, I kind of wish it was more of like an epic, because it makes you feel like it's an epic. But a lot of it's just like some wolf kill another goat. we gotta find this wolf.
That poor fucking dude, by the way, is like, everybody's like thinking like, you're not doing your job, man. He's like, bro, I swear I shot this motherfucker. By the way, nobody's like, this kid got a bullet in his leg. What the fuck is going on?
That's the
kid.
Like so many crazy like logical jumps in this movie, man. And it's like we're gonna let this guy reach like like full adolescence / adulthood and then release him to the public. Okay, now you're
well, don't forget, Stu, they cured him, right? They cured him for a time, man.
Right.
Yeah,
it didn't go wrong until dude took him to a strip club, basically a brothel, right? Yeah, that's where it went wrong.
But
this movie's got a very overt Christian overtone. That's Terence Fisher, though. That's just the way he is, right?
but as a result, there's just like all of the logic in the movie is very much like it's not only like nonsensical, but it doesn't even like attempt to welcome the audience into how they're thinking. It comes off very like one-sided. Like it's just like, because if your mom gets raped and you're born on Christmas, you're a monster. Like
Those are the curse
that's just like,
bro.
why wouldn't that happen? Like there's this like in a way that's very like not welcoming. Like it's not like, oh, I can see where this is coming from. It's just like, you lost me, and you're not even like attempting to like bring us in. You're just like, this is how it works, and it's like, and we cured him.
Treat you like you're stupid. Treat you like you're stupid.
And then it's like
that.
But it has messages, but like a third or so of those messages they like contradict or throw out the window over the course of the movie, where it's just like, this is a movie where it's like very focused on, rich bad, poor good, except the poor guy we follow the most who rapes that woman for no reason. Like literally no reason, because the movie had to happen. And it's just like, all right, like so poor, also bad.
Yeah.
Like what's the what's the connective tissue here? And then she goes off and murders, so it's like, so poor, good, bad, and morally gray.
Yeah.
I guess.
Can we talk about that though? Because that was bizarre. He was literally like getting treated like a dog, right? He had to fetch for scraps and his bones. He gets locked down in this dungeon and forgotten about. This girl feeds him as a child all the way into adulthood. Like he establishes, I'm guessing, this like a loving relationship with her, and then like the first chance he gets, like
I think the implication is that like his solitude is like turned him into an animal, so he's just like he's just running on base animal instinct.
Well, it's
like,
in there
like,
where
woman.
It's in there where the woman says, when he buys him for his wife, right, his new bride, she's like, he's a man, not an animal. But if you treat a man like an animal, that's what's going to happen, right?
Yeah, but like it's the idea, but like it doesn't work when he attacks her. If he attacked someone else and she like was the one to like calm him down. Like that's how like you do it in a movie, and this is a movie. But
you noticed he had the hair on his hand and his arm.
Yeah,
right? He's already turned
right.
into a beast, right? No, you're right. You're 100% right. It conflicts its own themes in the movie for sure.
Yeah,
because it does try really hard to be like rich bad, poor good, until you're locked in a dungeon and fed a bunch of bones for like 20 years, and then and she was hot, you know. But this doesn't like. I'm just whatever. It's so I shouldn't.
And also like.
Why
did they?
Why are you making an excuse for rapists?
But also, like, why did they keep him alive for 20? Like, how is he not dead in a year?
You forgot about him?
What? Like that?
Yeah.
So this guy is this like horrible guy who treats people awfully, and he locks him away, and he's gone for 20 years. They keep him alive for no reason, because like, if you're trying to make that point, he should have been brought out more and shown off and like, this is the Beast Man or something. But as far as we know, they didn't do anything. He never really comes down to like regularly mock and entertain. Like, so why are you keeping him alive for 20 years? Like you would just let him die. Like, it's just that, especially that guy. That's not like a good guy. So like, what is, you know, just things like that are like kind of like wonky with the movie, that it's like you can cut a lot of that and make it a tighter movie, or you can do things to flesh it out and make it make more sense and make it longer. But this movie absolutely needed to be like 25 minutes shorter or like 50 minutes longer.
Okay. Fair enough. I agree with that. The movie does have some great performances, and I've been really nice here lately, so I'm going to go first to not make it easy for the rest of y'all. Oliver Reed is my favorite performance in this movie.
Who knew?
He kills it, dude. He kills it because
I knew I had no chance of getting him. So
yeah. You watch The Wolfman, and Lon Chaney Jr. does a great job of playing Larry Talbot and playing that tragic kind of figure. Oliver Reed kills it. And it makes that moment in American Werewolf in London even better when David Naughton looks at the nurse and goes, "Have you ever seen The Wolfman?" She goes, "Is that the one with Oliver Reed?" Which that's a cool little bit there to begin with, because he's in London and that's the Wolfman movie they're more familiar with maybe. But Oliver Reed kills it, dude. When he like freaks out when Chick comes down and he's like thinking he's going to turn to the wolf. Oh my goodness. When he's sitting there at the brothel staring at the moon and just he's sweating and like the camera moves in, he is so freaking good. He's a powerhouse. He's only in the last act, like the last half of this movie, and he carries it. That's star power that continued until the day he died, right after making Gladiator, right? So, Jelani, what about you? What's another performance you want to highlight?
Dang, you took the good one. No, I'm kidding. I'm gonna pick the mom, the mute mom, because she's hot. She's smoking hot, man. Baby hot. No, mom, yum, gimme. I don't know why I just did that. But
me and Jamie were watching this movie, right? And they're like, and then the mother grew up, right? And then she goes, "Oh my God, did she grow up?"
Yeah. She did. She was mute, and she didn't say much because she couldn't. And but the fact that she emoted well, she did emote very well. The fact that she killed that dude, who is technically, he should have been my favorite character because he was just such a clean dick. He was just a dick, like the worst human you could meet. Yeah, here's a chicken bone. But like, I didn't pick him because he's not smoking hot like she was, and it's something about her character. It was very vulnerable. She played it well, and I think like when she was being tended to and everything like that, and the lady was like, "Tell me your name, please tell me your name," And like she tried, she was still trying to give her like something. We never knew her name, by the way. She was just servant girl. I was like, that sucks. No one knows this girl's name. No one has. I don't think even they had her dad say her name. It was just like servant girl. And I was
They
like,
didn't name you kids back then.
They didn't name kids. Yeah, you don't talk, you don't get a name. So it was just
servant girl.
Yep, you're a servant girl here. But they didn't even. This is the worst part. They find her, they save her. The guy saves her and everything. They still don't name her. She still doesn't get a name. So I just thought that was messed up. I don't know. She had a horribly tragic life, and I think it should be highlighted. And by the way, rape is not a subject that we laugh at. It's a horrible experience. If something like that, you need to go out and tell your story. You need to be believed. Even when you don't have a voice, you have a voice. I do want to say that. I do want to put that out there. I'm not just trying to glamorize this in any way.
For sure.
The beggar was wrong. I'm not trying to defend him in any way, by the way. But at the same time, when you get locked up for that long and you're by yourself and things happen, there's no self-control involved in it. And I'm not trying to give him credence at all. What he did was horrible. But it's something that if you were locked in a room by yourself, only getting fed bones, like you said before, it's just, it's inevitable. Something like that could happen. I mean, you just lose it. Sometimes you just lose it. And some people
treat a man like an animal, and don't be surprised when it happens. So
it makes total sense for the movie. And yeah, I picked her because that's still hot. She's still smoking.
Yeah, you picked her because she's hot, and that's okay, man. It's fine. It's valid here at PCP.
I told you, she's hot.
Yeah. What about you, Brooks? What's a performance you want to highlight?
I really like the Marquis. Like he's just so bad. He's just such a piece of shit. Like he's I love that he's so miserable that his wife just like dies to get away from him. And, like, all of his friends just fucking abandon him. But my favorite part was like seeing him get fucking stabbed to death. I was like, fuck yeah. He went out like a true villain should, like being stabbed by somebody that he wronged.
He's such an asshole, man.
Yeah,
he's just fucking ridiculous. Just a fucking like, he's kind of like the extreme of the rich dickhead type, I guess.
Yeah,
it's like
he was all about that goose until he realized that chick.
Yeah, like he doesn't care about anybody. He treats everybody like shit. He expects his dickhead friends to laugh at his fucking cruel fucking bullshit. Yeah. He's just like the worst guy. Like nobody would ever fucking like him.
Yeah, no shit. It's like a Rockin' Robbie live on Sunday night is what it's like. It was really shameful.
I don't know if we got that far.
And I love how, like, whenever they need to age somebody in this movie, they just put a bunch of white powder on them. And they're like, they're all
aged. He had this score he was picking at. That was great.
Yeah, it was gross, dude. It's super gross, man. It fit that dude. Yeah, if you're a dickhead, you're gonna fucking look like a dickhead when you grow up, man. That's what's gonna happen.
Like dying of syphilis.
Definitely, it reminded me of Charles Dickens' Uncle Scrooge energy.
Yeah.
He had the fucking cap.
Yeah,
he did. Absolutely. He really did. If only he could make it to the next Christmas, the ghost would have shown up and turned his face around.
Turn him around.
What about you, Stu? What's a performance you want to highlight?
For me, it's Jose, our boy Leon's homeboy when he got the job, who took him out to the club where everything transpired and ended up getting freaking broken down like he was in WWF, but that's all good. I just loved his character in this movie, the guy who I would most want to have a beer with. So definitely Jose. I just love that scene made me laugh where, if you run into any strange men, when he dropped that woman he was talking to, if you run into any strange men, make sure you call for help. I just love that character, man. It was a brief little comedic respite.
Dude, he's a great character. That's a character that could have been thread throughout a little bit longer.
Absolutely.
As a friend, and he acts with his whole body, right? It's a very comedic bit, but a very grounded bit in this movie. And his name's Jose in the film, so obviously a very Spanish
Yeah,
looking actor.
super Spanish, so white. I mean, they definitely did them a disservice there. But regardless, homeboy
They
had some
basically
chops.
cast they cast Seth Rogen as Jose.
Yeah, they really did. They really did.
It's like,
They really did. That's a great analogy. It really was like that. Yeah.
What about you, Steph? What's the performance you want to highlight?
I'm gonna go with the adoptive father. Very happy-go-lucky, jovial dude that he just had good intentions. I mean, that's how it felt. And then at the end of the film, he did what had to be done. So he was best character to me.
Yeah, he's great in the movie, man. Like he took on the woman. He basically adopted this young man and showered him with love when he needed to, right? And I really feel that. Like that actor and Oliver Reed together really sold me on their relationship, even though we didn't see a lot of the bonding, right? He did a great job. Really, really did. And I love the bit too when he's like slightly drunk and he's like, Christmas is always on the 25th. 25th is always on Christmas. I love that shit. I thought that was a really great bit. What about you, Joe?
I liked how he took the candle.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I liked how he took the candle and lit his little pipe. I was like, MacGyver, very ingenious.
Yeah. He's like, man, I'm not high enough. He's like, that's what happened there. What about you, Joe? What's the performance you want to highlight?
You know what? I will highlight. Was it Richard Wordsworth, the beggar, insofar as he was able to play this like kind of little down on his luck, jovial but smarmy kind of like beggar character, and then did a good job selling the sort of bestial nature that he succumbed to or would succumb to later. But since I'm last anyway, and I'm not going to be taking from anyone else, Justin Walters, the young Oliver Reed, really does a good. I mean, we basically get about just as much, if not more, of him on screen.
Yeah.
And if he didn't do a good job, it would have tanked the movie.
Yeah.
Like he looked the part.
Yeah.
And he sells it. He does a really good job. It
was terrible. I was drinking blood and I licked the squell and I liked the taste of the blood and I loved it. And dude, the bit where he's like on the fucking like prison rails, like just like that looks so cool, man. Really good.
No,
and he looks just like Oliver Reed as a kid, dude.
It's
like
crazy. Oh
great casting director.
That is one of the crucial casting choices of this movie, and it works.
Absolutely. Let's get to the style and structure. Style is amazing. It's that Hammer film style. If you know Hammer films, you get that style. You get the Technicolor. You get the like melted red crayon blood color. It looks waxy. It looks like way too red. That stuff is awesome. The werewolf makeup is amazing. It is absolutely astonishing. Benjamin Frankel was the composer of the film. Wrong tab. Anyway, the guy who did the makeup here did a really, really good job. There's like a whole thing in this Blu-ray about that dude and how he was trying to do like the Jack Pierce stuff, but he was trying to elevate it a little bit further, but also respect what Jack Pierce had done with The Wolfman and even with Werewolf of London. And a lot of it's based more on Werewolf of London's makeup, but you get that like, and we take this for granted now because like Buffy and the Lost Boys made it popular, but that like heavy brow that they put on people. One of the most terrifying images to me is when Oliver Reed is mid-transformation and turns around and looks at that person, right? And he's not fully transformed yet, but the werewolf makeup looks amazing to me. The style is great. The sets are brilliant. Like you said, Joe, they're absolutely brilliant. They stand out. Structurally, I agree. This movie is way too long in the first half and too short in the second, right? It needs to be longer or shorter. I would go for longer. I think 15 more minutes really helps sell this movie. Let us spend some more time with adult Leon. Let us like really dive into that aspect of it, because I wouldn't trade away the long preamble into it, because unlike other werewolf films where it's like, oh, they got bit, they're turning into a werewolf, this one really does kind of take some time to try to develop its mythology. As weird as it may be and as complex and convoluted as it may be, at least because it's so complex, the lore in this movie, like there's not a werewolf born every year. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm just saying, like, it is weird though, like so many sets of circumstances, but it leads to the idea that sometimes we are cursed with things that are not within our power from the beginning. And how can we overcome that? We'll find out. What about you, Jelani? What do you think about the style and structure?
It's good. Like I said, it's not the best at all. It's at all. It's a lot of it, like you said before, like everyone has said, it's a lot of preamble before we get to the meat of the story. You're not getting the true nature of what they're trying to convey in this film. And even though this is uncut, like I said, a lot is left on the cutting room floor. I heard this was like the first werewolf movie that they did in Technicolor. So it's the color of the blood and the way he is portrayed with the whiteness of the skin or the fur of Oliver Reed's werewolves is very bright. It's very intimidating. I like it. I love the makeup work. I like the big furry shoulders along with that poofy shirt. Yeah. Something about the combination works very well. I was gonna say something about. I completely forgot. I like the scene where he's basically dirty. Like I said before, he's dirty macking on the daughter. The daughter steals the daughter away from the rich noble guy. You know, they're totally in love and all these things. And I don't know why I love that scene. It's just like, and then when she like agrees to marry him, and then all of a sudden, like she's going to get him, but he's been arrested. By the father gets him arrested, and the father and the boyfriend come down, the fiance come down, and she's like, "Yeah, I love him. He's great and all stuff. Can you take me? Can I use your carriage?" And the father, "Can I use your carriage?" He's like, "No." And then she asked the fiance, "Please, Rico, can you give me a carriage? Borrow your carriage?" He's like, "No, I'm not gonna help you find him." I don't know what it is, the way he said it or the way it was presented. I was like, this is hilarious. Oh my God. Like she's totally like in love with this other dude and is asking her now former fiance for a ride to go see him. Like that ain't gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. Yeah. I thought it was hilarious. And she just goes and takes it anyway. I love that scene. I don't know why, but something about it makes it one of my favorite scenes in this movie.
Dude, I felt the same way about like when they first introduced the goose at dinner and he just like looks at his hand, like he looks slightly displeased, he picks it up and just throws it on the ground. Like it just made me laugh.
Pick it up! And then he kicks him and all that stuff. Oh man.
I mean, but why are you gonna cook and prepare a goose like it's flying at you?
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
That was a dumb move. He should have had that thing knocked out.
Also, we know that was some bland ass fucking food, dude. Would it had some cottage cheese and some tomatoes with it, man, for seasoning, man? Get the fuck out.
I don't know. But I mean, goose is good, man. I like goose, I like duck. I like a lot of those foul beasts. But like the way it was presented looked terrible. And it has the feathers still on it. I was like, how the hell do you keep feathers on it, man? Yeah, this is a bad idea, dude. You should have picked it up off the floor. But
it was that doofy ass kid, man. That's what it was. Yeah. That's what she was looking at. That the kid on the left was like super doofy looking, man. Yeah, looked like Stu at age fucking 8, like bringing out a goose.
They were struggling, bro. They were struggling.
They were like, "Don't drop it! Don't drop it!
Please don't drop it!" Yeah, I like the kid in the movie. Like y'all said before, the kid does play it very well. He's no Satan's little helper kid, thank God. So there's little things, but yeah, I like the sets. I mean, of course, the sets were for something else, but I mean, they still, like I said, they could have played this in Paris. They could have gotten away with that somehow. a little bit.
I think the Spanish setting works for it because you don't get a lot of these kind of movies from that era set in like a Spanish situation, right? Like the Universal monster movies are kind of set in this like weird fictionalized land that's both England and Germany.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So it, like, I like the Spanish setting here. I think it actually works.
Yeah, it's not terrible. I mean, but like I said,
even though all the cast are white as fuck, dude.
Yeah, they are.
They're like, like I'm Spanish, eh? Don't you understand, matey? It's like, what the fuck, man? What's going on?
Yeah, but this movie's pacing is all over the damn place. It just really is. Even though I do enjoy it, something about the way it's made is okay with me, but it's still kind of wonky. So I'll give it that. That's what I'll say about that.
All right, Brooks, what do you think about the style and structure?
Well, I love the style. Like I said before, like I love the costumes, the color, the sets. Like it's all great, and I think overall, like I like the pacing of the story too. But I feel like they needed to like simplify the whole werewolf thing because like I figured what was going to happen was that the beggar was going to end up either being a werewolf the whole time, or his imprisonment turned him into a werewolf, which I think would have made more sense. Like that way, it's like, oh yeah, he became a werewolf, and like the night he put her in the cage, it was a full moon, and so that's how and then you wouldn't have to do any of this born on Christmas bullshit or any of that, and you could shave off a lot of that like time. I think that this movie wastes a bit. But like I wouldn't necessarily say like you need to cut a lot out of it. I just think it could have been streamlined a little bit, and then you could fit more time in of him as a young man, like actually struggling a couple of times, like maybe he kills somebody and he returns to being human, and he has to like deal with that, But instead, he basically like he learns about his curse, then he becomes a werewolf, and then he like gets killed. So it feels like it gyps you a little bit as far as that goes, but still, like I think it's still like a good story. I just think it could have used a little more,
Hell yeah, absolutely. What about you, Stu? What are you thinking?
Sorry, unmute me. Yeah, I agree with so many things that what Brooks would just said. I think there's so many good seeds there. It's not paced out correctly. I love how we kind of hit the ground running. It's just so far in the past, and it takes us so long to get to the present. But
it's like you got to get through the Star Wars prequels or some shit like that.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
It was a Christmas bastard.
We need 3 movies to see this fucking guy from 8 years old until 30 to turn into Darth Vader. No.
We definitely could have skipped a few generations there, but like regardless, I love how the story was told, and I love the characters in it, early on, and I love like seeing them age and how time wore on them. But yeah, not to just repeat what everybody said, but
what do you think about the werewolf makeup?
The werewolf makeup I thought was incredible, but man, just to like I remember looking at the movie time, there was 9 minutes left in the movie when he finally fucking showed up. It's like, give me a break, give me some more time with it. It looked incredible, and like him up there, like running for his life on the rooftops was everything I wanted. But give me more of that. 9 minutes left in the movie. Come on, man.
Yeah,
like I could have definitely used more time with him. That was definitely one of my biggest gripes.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Link? What do you think about the style and structure?
Stylistically, it was fine. It was beautiful. I enjoyed the sets, the costume design. I liked how the movie opened with like just the Wolfman's eyes. You got to see like a lot of detail. Him just like looking
and he's
around.
Crying,
cool,
right? Intentionally crying.
Yeah.
So good. And he cries at the end after he shoots him, right? And dude, that's the thing I love about this movie too.
Did he?
Every other werewolf movie, you kill the werewolf at the end, he turns back to a human. This one doesn't, dude. It's a true curse, right?
Yeah,
like he doesn't even change back at the end, dude. It's so tragic, man.
But structure wise, it was fine. But once again, I stand by, as everyone has said, they needed to either cut some of the beginning, streamline some of it, or add a couple more minutes towards the end. Because like Stu said, the last 9 minutes of the movie, that's kind of unacceptable. But it was still it was fine though. But I enjoyed it.
All right, Joe, style and structure, man. What do you think? Go.
Yeah, I mean, I will stress. I feel like it's kind of been touched on, but the slowly becoming a werewolf stuff kind of sucked, but the full finished version looked fantastic. It's a really well shot movie. Like the directing is very well done. Every angle feels like it's the best angle you could really go with. There's not a lot of dull static shots, even in like the scenes of just like people talking. There's something dynamic, and the the solid acting, script, costumes, and sets all elevate that. If a lot of that wasn't there, good directing might not have done much to help it, but the directing amplifies it in a way that I think really helps this movie look great. You know, the pacing stuff we already touched on, and everyone touched on. We get it, but and yeah, part of that pacing issue is like, yeah, we should have been like 20 minutes in the full costume, broken up over like a few scenes, and you know, things like that, just you know, just to enjoy. And yeah, but the Technicolor, I thought also it just, the color looked good, the shots looked good. It was just a good looking movie.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The music in the movie is by Benjamin Frankel. He had been working in the business since 1935. I don't know any of the other movies that he did. He did a lot of movies that I think I know, but I know the modern day versions of, like The Net. I'm sure The Net from 1953 is not like The Net that I know. But I like the music a lot. So the music and a lot of the Hammer movie music is kind of doing the Universal monsters kind of thing, right? And a lot of those movies didn't have an original score. You know, like Frankenstein did, Creature did, and a few others did, Wolfman did. But like a lot of them were using like stock music or like Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake or something like that, right? But there's a lot more scenes without dialogue, and music was used differently in films back in these days, right? But we are a year removed from Psycho, so it's not as sophisticated as something like Psycho's music score, but the music score in this feels very universal, feels very classic, very operatic, and I think it does bring out this boisterous brass, but also shows us the nuance of the tragedy of the film. So I think the music is good for what it is, which is trying to be a bloodier, more sexy version of the Universal monster movies. That's pretty much what Hammer is, right? It's the Universal monster movies done with cleavage and blood, right? I mean, that's what it is, and it excels for that for me. What about you, Jelani? What do you think about the music? Should we tell him? While Jelani's waiting to figure out that he's muted, I do regret that Bush's mouth is not in this movie.
That is fair. That is fair.
Fair enough. Fair enough. It's good music. It's very ominous. It has a tone to it where it wants to draw you in. It's good music. I even like the party music, the music from the actual party that they're in, where the guy dances. I don't know what it is about that other than he's been made a fool of, but at the same time, it's joyful music. I dance to that shit, you know. So yeah, it's good music. I mean, what else can I say?
All right, Brooks, what do you think?
I like the music. I like the score in this movie as well. Like it does, in a lot of moments, it does have that kind of like old world European kind of sound to it, which I liked. I appreciated that, how they used that. You know, like you were saying, for the party music, it does kind of give off that kind of like medieval times kind of vibe, I guess. And it also has, like, you know, those kind of like dramatic moments, like, you know, it has the kind of stinger type music to it. So yeah, I think it's like very appropriate for the movie. Like it feels like, what a universal soundtrack or score would have been like if they'd have had more, interest in doing soundtracks back then.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Stu? What do you think about the music?
Yeah, I loved it. I don't remember like the exact scenes, but like some of those heavy dramatic parts, I just remember the strings and the horns and everything being there present, and just really digging what was going on with the score. So I thought they did an excellent job throughout. Despite like the ups and downs of the story, I thought they did a good job always bringing the drama with the music and making sure that support was there. So I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Sure.
Link, what do you think about the music?
I totally got Universal, classic Universal monster vibe. So if that's what they're trying to emulate, they nailed that. So I think they did a fine job. Great job.
Hell yeah. Joe, anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only thing I'd add that wasn't touched on, and again, this is just a nitpick, is I could have used like not that much more score, but just like a little more, because there are a lot of moments where there's like no score at all, and it mostly works, but I'm like, it could have used just a little bit more, because I feel like there's a little, like just a little more silence than I think the movie needed, but that is a very minor nitpick.
Yeah, I think there's like 27 minutes of music that was scored for this film, something like that, right? 27, 28, 29, just less than 30 minutes, right? And the main theme is really cool. It's got that dun dun dun. It feels more like the Creature from the Black Lagoon score than some of the other Universal scores, I think, which I really, really like. But this movie's got some themes. It's diving into them. There's plenty of themes that this movie is touching on. And Jelani has dipped out. So, Brooks, why don't you lead us off? And what do you think this movie is speaking to you?
Well, like probably one of like the biggest themes is it's like it's how beings need for love and like the care of their fellow man. Like, I think the whole idea like of the beggar is like because he was deprived of that love, like that's what made him into like a beast. Like he wasn't even really a man anymore because he'd been so deprived of it. And I think that's part of like the curse is they're saying like if he finds true love, then he'll be all right. So like I think like as he's growing up, his parents' love is kind of what keeps the curse in check, But when he's like exposed to the kind of like I guess more shallow kind of love like his friend is into, that kind of like that kind of reinvigorates the curse in a way, because it's like it's a very not genuine love. It's more it's more primal, more bestial. So yeah, I think like it's the idea that people need they need the affection of people around them. They need like that kind of unconditional care that only someone who really loves you can give you to like bring out the best humanity in them. And if people don't get that, sometimes they just kind of revert to like very base instincts because they don't care about anybody else. Like, so why should they give care to anybody else? And that's why some people, I believe, like do kind of like act like beasts or act like or just general assholes, because they want love, but they don't know how to appreciate it either, because it's something they're just not familiar with.
Dude, word
up. That's
man.
what the werewolf is. Like, it's the worst parts of yourself, like, and it's kind of part of the curse is like, there's like, and so it's different in different circumstances, but in like most werewolf stories, like the person who turns into the wolf, while you're the wolf, you have no control. Like the wolf does what it wants. And when you turn back into a human, you just have to kind of live with the consequences. So I think that's the thing too, is like, you become a beast and you have no control over it. And that's kind of like one of the more horrifying aspects, I think, of the whole werewolf affliction.
Yeah, bro. You nailed it. You nailed it 100%. Like, I'll get to me when I get to me, but like, it just reminded me of a bit I really love in the movie. When Oliver Reed first wakes up from his first like a night as an adult terrorizing and killing, and he realizes what maybe happened, and he's about to cry, and then he sees the blood on his hands. Dude, so fucking good, dude. It's so good. What about you, Jelani? What's this movie speaking to you?
Yeah, sorry I missed it. This is about basically, a man trying to become his own, trying to come into his own, but unfortunately, life and circumstances get in the way, and being a Christmas bastard doesn't help.
Why is there not a movie called Christmas Bastard? Is
Christmas
there not?
Bastard.
Like, Joe, if there's a
Make
movie
me feel
called
like
Christmas
there will be
Bastard,
bloodline. Bastard in a
if
basket.
there's a movie
Think
called
about
Christmas
that.
Bastard, it's got to be one of Joe's favorites. So, Joe, does that movie exist?
It does not exist, and I assure you, if it did, it would be one of my favorite movies.
We gotta write it. Christmas bastard. Let's do it.
Born under a bad sign.
That's right. You're born as Christmas bastard, and it's a werewolf movie. I mean, shoot, it writes itself. But I think it's just how you deal also with change. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? He could have made this a plus. Of course, dirty macking is not the best way to go. Having a girl run off with you because you love him isn't the best way to go. But I think he realized what his situation was. And even if he had run off with her, I think it would have happened again somehow. Something would have happened because, like, and I hate to say this, if she cheated on the first guy, she's probably gonna cheat on you. So it's just gonna happen. It's just once it starts, it starts. So it's just one of those weird things that you do. And I think change is a big part of the Oliver Reed character and how he wants to become a better person, but he cannot because of this affliction.
Do you love that bit when he's like skipping around with like the grass in his fucking mouth?
Yes.
It's just like,
And he's kicking the
I'm
rock.
so happy to be starting my new life. By the way, I know that we love the dad, and Teresa's great too, but why did none of them be like, oh, by the way,
Yeah.
you're a werewolf,
You're a
so
werewolf.
you might want to like calm the fuck
You gotta
down.
do this. Yeah.
What about you, Stu? What's this movie speaking to you?
To me, it's about father and son, the makeshift family. That kind of like, to me, it's all about like, you know, they found this kid and they kind of like raised him up. I feel like when we talk about structure and storyline, that's where it kind of got stunted, and we could have used a little bit more development of these two, like spending time with them as adolescent, raising him up, not sending him out into society so underprepared. Like, oh, hey, by the way, next week it's a full moon, bro. So if you're out at a bar, maybe like think twice about like that whole decision. You know what I mean? But regardless, I thought the final scene in the bell tower was so touching between father and son. I feel like as a parent, there's a point in your life where you've had your kids sheltered kind of under your wing completely, and then you have to let them out and release them into society, and you don't necessarily always know how that's going to affect them or change their lives. And I feel like I love that sense of regret and pain that the dad had, like walking up those steps into the bell tower and seeing the son there, and like the son deciding to take a kind of final swing at him. I just thought that was such a fitting climax of the story, and a storyline and a relationship that I could have used more of in the movie. So that's what I chose to pull from it.
Yeah, absolutely. The original Wolfman at Universal is very much a father-son story, right? And this has elements of it, but it doesn't quite develop it. Like once they realize they have to love the kid, that needed to be developed further. Like, because the next thing we see, as soon as they realize they got to love this kid to heal this kid, they're like letting him go off to do his own fucking thing. Yeah. And he didn't want to go out to the brothel that night. So beware the Jose's in your life.
Oh,
goddamn Jose.
Especially if they just look like white-ass British guys.
Yeah. You know that's you, Martin.
My name is Jose, mate. It's Jose. What about you, Lee? What are you thinking about the theme of the movie?
From a Christian standpoint, definitely wait to have sex until you found the right person and you're married. That's essentially what they were pushing. He was tempted went out to that brothel, and bad shit happened, you know. But if he had waited for his true love, like Christianity wants you to, mind you, I'm not religious. I'm just saying the rules. But you know, had he waited for his true love, he would have never had that cascade of series of unfortunate events.
Yeah, it's a Terence Fisher thing. There's a lot of Christian stuff in this movie,
There is,
right?
yeah, for sure.
You know, they're like, well, they didn't prepare him. You're not, to tell him he's a werewolf. Well, read the Bible. Don't do the things that the Bible tells you not to do, like wear mixed fabrics and shit like that, and you'll be fine. What if he puts on some cotton and polyester weave, and he just turns into a fucking werewolf?
Irritant.
He eats a pork chop and just fucking kills the whole goddamn restaurant.
Is there shellfish in this soup?
Yeah, no, shrimp? No. My one weakness, it turns me into a wolf man.
That would be great. That'd have made Christmas Bastard so much better.
Dude, Christmas Bastard's gonna happen, man. You just wait and see, dude.
Yeah.
Just wait and see. Joe, we're gonna have to call you on you for that to help us with the script. So
I could do that. That sounds good.
all right. Speaking of the Christmas Bastard, Joe, what do you think about the theme of this film?
Look, I'm not deducting any points for the movie from this because this obviously came out way before they overdid it, but the core theme to this movie is generational trauma.
Jesus. It's
every other fucking horror movie that comes out now is generational trauma as like the core theme. This came out at a time where you could actually tell more than like two kinds of horror stories that would get some play. So yeah, I mean it's generational trauma. The violence inflicted from that generation leads to violence being inflicted by and then on the next generation.
We're still dealing with the trauma of all of humanity, right? Like I think The Shining is about that, right?
Yeah.
Like the weight of the horror of the history of humanity, right? And this one takes it a little bit different, but I mean it basically does do that. For me, I will quote the philosopher Huey Lewis. The power of love. That's what this is. Brooks, I think you nailed it for me. Like when I watched this movie, it's about love, right? And so he's healed from being a werewolf because of the love of his parents. Even though they're not biological, they showed him true love and they truly cared for him. And then he was good. Everything was good for like 10 plus years, right? The night he turns to a werewolf, the next night he's there with his lady, he doesn't change, right? But then it's the next night, and he didn't make that decision on his own and all this kind of stuff. But to me, the movie is about the power of love, and that love, what separates us from the beasts of the world, right? What separates humanity from animals? We could say love, but I'll go even further. What separates my house cat from the mountain lion that's gonna kill my ass? The fact that my house cat understands love, right? Ariel knows I love her. She loves me, and she lives in an environment of love. When you live in an environment of love, you will produce the fruits of that love. When you are separated from that love and you go to these more base desires. And what I mean by that is not necessarily that he went to a brothel. I don't think anything's wrong with sex work or paying for it, as Chester Brown would say. Movie coming soon, so that's fucking cool. Never thought that comic book would be made into a movie, but I'm glad it is, because there's an element that, I mean, it's a little bit more nuanced in my understanding today, but the idea of that, like, true love and respect and understanding, that's what makes us human, right? And being human and experiencing love is not necessarily just a Homo sapien type thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I see it in house cats. I see it in dogs. I see it in fucking all kinds of animals, mostly mammalian. Fuck reptiles. They don't know love. They don't understand it. It's fine. But I have a thing, man. I had nightmares about raptors and gremlins when I was growing up. So we don't like reptiles here.
Yeah. I appreciate you explaining all of that because I always considered love to be a secondhand emotion, you know.
Well, what's it got to do with it?
Thank you, Smokey.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So the power of love for me is what the movie is. As cheesy as it may be, there, you know, a Care Bear stare would have fucking cured everything at the end of the film. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oliver Reed would have turned back to normal and they would all hugged each other and been just
Horribly
fine.
arrested.
Yeah.
For murder.
All right. Now it's time. Yeah. All right. We love you. You're healed. You ate this dude, by the way. So we need
Sorry.
to. You still ate this. By the way, there were
Dude, I had the weirdest shit this morning.
one of the things that was there was a lot of things changed in the script, but like when he kills Jose, he just like throws him, right? Or whatever. But like you're supposed to then pan away from that and hear the bones crunching as he's eating his best friend. Like this movie without the censorship would have been really fucking dope.
Damn, yeah, that's heavy.
Like, really fucking dope. 100%. So I think the main theme is this is don't censor fucking horror movies, man. Let them tell their story, man.
Right.
Let them tell their story in 2.5 hours if they need to. But most movies only need to be an hour and a half. Okay. Like most horror movies only need to be an hour and a half. Like Curse of the Werewolf should be longer, but don't get the wrong idea. Like Black Phone 2 should not be 2.5 hour movie. Terrifier 3 should not be a 3-hour movie. Just gonna say. Also, part of the movie is about accepting guilt when you don't deserve it. Leon, like I see Fable out there. Leon at least admitted his guilt. For what? He was a stand-up dude. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't do anything that led him to the werewolf. Even going to the brothel was not his decision. He did it to bond with his homie Jose. That drunken buffoon that he is. Stu, you remind me a lot of Jose for some reason.
That's why I chose him, bro.
All right, time to rate the film. You out there in the chat, out of 5 possible you digs, what do you give The Curse of the Werewolf? Jelani, kick us off here on the panel.
I like the film. It is rewatchable. I've seen it twice. Well, it's got pacing issues. Some stuff's kind of weird in it. It's really wonky in parts, but I still enjoyed it. So I'm going to give it a 4. It is. It's not perfect. It really, like we've said the entire show, it either needs to be like 2 hours long or it needs to be 15 minutes or at least 30 minutes shorter. A tighter story. It needs to be. There's something missing. There's a lot of something missing.
I think it needs more room to breathe.
Yeah, it needs more, either more or less. It needs work. And I would have loved to hear bones crunching. That really would have done it. Like, you're not seeing it. God dang British censor. Screw you guys.
Oh, they hated the idea that there was blood on the werewolf's lips, right? Which that was the first time I think we've ever seen a werewolf with blood on his lips.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And that's a powerful image. And the other thing they had a problem with was the implied bestiality in the film.
How was it getting there though? Like, is it because he was gonna like sleep with that lady that took him upstairs?
Well, they didn't want the beggar to look too much like a werewolf because it would have been too much like bestiality.
Oh, that. Oh,
Okay.
Yeah. Gotcha. Well, that's why he had hairy arms.
It was a deal they made. They were like, you can keep the rape scene in there as long as he doesn't look like a werewolf. Like, no lie. It was an actual thing that they made a deal, man. No
what
shit.
the crap?
Yeah.
All
right. So my question is he supposed to be a werewolf kind of like at that point? Or
He's
is
supposed to be turning into a werewolf. That's why you see his hair like growing his arms. He's becoming more beastly. And
yeah,
shit
and
like
he
that.
has
The
that,
idea
like,
is
that moment where he like kind of lunges at him.
Yeah,
like,
he shows up looking for charity, winds up being treated like an animal for years, and he becomes an animal. Is it like that point would have been sent home a little bit further without the fucking board of British censors, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have worked. It really would have worked.
Stuck up bastards, man.
They couldn't let us have our Christmas bastard.
We should have had Mark here tonight so we could like just fucking lampoon his
just
little
blame
goddamn.
him. Yeah, blame him for everything.
Fuck you and your king.
Fucking, and your teeth, your bad teeth.
Good queen
Fish and
bastard.
chips
Not
are
approved,
okay,
they
mate.
say.
Anyway, what about you, Brooks? We got a 4 from Jelani. What about you, Brooks? Where do you rate this one?
Well, I like this movie, and I think it's a really good werewolf movie. You know, I think it does like we talk about it needs more development, but I think it also needs more violence. I think like I expected this movie, because of Hammer's reputation, to have like more violence, more werewolf attacks and stuff, and it didn't really have as much of that and it was a little bit disappointing. But still, like if I was wanting to watch a werewolf movie, this would be one that I would like to revisit down the line. It is a very entertaining movie, and so I'll give it a 4.5.
Oh shit!
Not quite perfect, but still pretty damn good.
Fuck yeah, 4.5 from Brooks. What about you, Stu? What you sitting on?
I'm right there with Jelani and several members of the chat. I'm at a 4. Like, it was super solid in so many parts, but I felt like tightening up here and there could have done it so many wonders. So yeah, 4 out of 5 for me.
All right, 4 out of 5, very respectable. What about you, Link? What are you thinking?
I'm gonna have to break that chain, unfortunately, sadly. This movie was okay. It was fine for me. I'm gonna go with a 3. I think I've definitely seen better, and for me, the 9 minutes that he was doing werewolf shit didn't make up for the other half of the rest of the film. It wasn't bad, but I needed more werewolf. So yeah, it's a solid film. If you're a horror fan and especially a werewolf fan, you'll enjoy this. So for me, it's a 3.
All right. I respect your opinion, but it does hurt me because I gave the new Crow movie 3 out of 5. You did, and it's like so.
You did?
Yeah, it's not as bad as people are making you think, bro.
Yeah, I've heard conflicting tales of.
It's not a good movie,
Eh.
but it ain't the worst movie of the year. I think In a Violent Nature was way worse than this movie, personally, but it's got some issues.
I haven't seen it, but I love both those. I love FKA Twigs and Bill Skarsgård. I love both.
Is it FK Twigs? Because last night I kept saying FKA Twigs.
No, you're right. FKA Twigs, I think. Yeah,
okay.
Right.
I was trying to be hip and cool. I don't know.
You're
the
very
movie's not as bad as people will lead you to believe, but it's not Curse of the Werewolf either. But Steph would probably give The Crow like 1. So I feel like that's good. That's good. That's a good one. That's a good solid score for you, Steph. What about you, Joe? What do you rate this film?
Yeah, no, I totally get where Steph's coming from too on this, but I'm still going with a 4. I like a lot of what it's doing. I really wish it was better. I really do. I wish it was a tighter movie. I wish there were less I wish there was less like bizarre stuff that was just like, like, well, yeah, I was born on Christmas, of course, like just things like that. I wish like he really needed to be in that werewolf makeup like twice as long, like minimum, like not even like 2 minutes more and it would have been like a lot more. That was not anywhere near enough. But I'm still gonna give it a 4. But
yeah, I love the moment tonight when I think it was Stu who was like, "Yeah, so he turns into the werewolf, and I look, and there's 9 minutes left in the fucking movie."
yeah, like come on, like
give me more.
All right. I'm going to echo most of the chat and most of the panel, and I'm going to give it a 4. I think it's a really good movie. I enjoy it. It's not my favorite werewolf movie, but I do think it's in the top 10 werewolf movies. That's not saying too much, honestly.
Yeah.
Just like saying the new Crow movie's the second best Crow movie doesn't say a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like all these people talking shit about the new Crow movie. Watch the Edward Furlong version and then watch this one and tell me how you fucking feel. Okay? That's all I'm going to say about it.
There's an Edward Furlong Crow?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Don't watch it.
I won't. City of Angels?
Don't worry.
It's bad. Is that Salvation? I think that one might be Salvation.
That's Salvation.
Yeah, Salvation was the third one.
Yeah.
City of Angels was the second one.
City of Angels, yeah.
Yeah, then there's one with Kirsten Dunst and another guy. That one's almost even worse, dude. I don't even remember what that was. That
Bro, how
Wicked
many
Prayer?
Crow movies are there out here?
Dude, there's like 5 or 6
They all went to
if you include
fucking
the
way.
television series.
Wow.
They all
Yeah,
went
they
to
did a
the
TV
TV
series,
series.
bruh.
I
The
had no
dude from
idea
Double
there was that
Dragon,
many
and I ain't
properties.
talking about Scott Wolf, man. So, anyway,
Holy shit.
I know.
Wow.
So a 4 from me and Jelani and Joe and Stu, a 4.5 from Brooks, and a 3 from Link for a PCP average of 3.91. 69 dudes. Fuck yeah. And here's the biggest problem. I know, Brooks, you mentioned Hammer has a reputation for having these violent films, right? The problem they always went up against was their films were also sexy. And it's when you mix sex and violence when you get some issues with the censors back in those days, right? But like Gavin Rosdale said, the philosopher he is, there's no sex in your violence. So there you go. Anyway, thus concludes our review of Curse of the Werewolf. But do not worry, Horrorfest is not near done. We are just now kicking off week 2 of Horrorfest. So check out Blood Splatter Chatter for the first double feature. Each channel has a double feature for Horrorfest this year. Check out the first double feature over at Blood Splatter Chatter as they talk about Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day to you. Then Sunday night, Trilogy of Terror over at Dylan's Horror Show. And next week, y'all, we're keeping the transgression and the bloodletting going.
Oh, what sights we have to show you.
Hellraiser, y'all. I'm so fucking
Jeez.
pumped. We've already done the entire Hellraiser franchise.
Yep.
And I'm so excited to spend 2 hours here talking about how awesome Hellraiser is, as opposed to me defending Hellraiser Inferno all fucking night long. All right. So
It's terrible. Why
Hellraiser next week on PCP Movie Night. Super excited for that. And go vote for PCP and our extended family over at the cbcawards.org. Come on, y'all. Vote for me for most comedic content creator. I would love to win that one just to hear fucking Sticky Goose and CJ have to fucking bitch about it. That would be great, y'all. But honestly, go vote for Freaky Loki because he probably deserves it more than me. But vote for us for all the rest. Jelani, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for joining us as usual on PCP Movie Night. What's coming up? What you got? You never sent me a thumbnail, man.
Yeah, I know. I sent it to you midway through this stream, but I got the stuff,
let me go
so
find
it
it real
doesn't
quick.
matter. It's all good.
Fluff it out, man.
Yeah. Yes, please vote for us. I want to beat Jim Mint. I really do. So tell your friends to go to the CBC Awards, cbc.org, and vote for us. Yeah.
Go figure reviews for
Yep.
those of you that don't know.
That's right. Go figure reviews with Brooks and I, and Manny. When we see him, he does our thumbnails. He's pretty awesome. What we are, I guess I'll promote. I'll do the Batmobile that Brooks, Robbie, and I did a while back. This thing is pretty cool. I really like it. It lights up. We share our views on it along with ranting about the toy industry. And the one behind me is not the Vamp. That is the Vamp, but that's not the one we reviewed. Nate and I from Huggy Bear's Toy Shop did the Stinger, which is basically the same vehicle but with missiles. And right now, oddly, this is the highest viewed video that we've had all year.
I saw that, man.
That's
Congratulations.
freaking wild. I have no idea. Sorry,
It's
Brooks.
all those people at the CBC Awards going, who the fuck is this?
Yeah. They're like, they were showing pictures of everybody's faces, and then they showed Chun-Li for us, and I was like, oh gosh, we haven't put our faces on here enough. But yeah,
Keith Chun-Li.
yeah, I don't know. And it's an awesome Chun-Li. Yeah, we did a review of that
Is
one
it the
too.
smiling face?
Yeah. They used
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll send you the pictures, Brooks, because I know you didn't see it. But yeah, they were like, go figure reviews, and they did all these other channels, and they were like, go figure reviews, and they just showed Chun-Li in my hands, and I was like, what the crap? Did they find any pictures of us? So we don't do live streams, so we're gonna do live streams soon. So yeah, thanks guys. Sorry, check us out and vote for Robbie and vote for Nick and vote for One Collection Down and Fable. Vote for our friends, man.
Vote for Two Gun Pedro.
Hey, Two Gun Pedro. Thank you, Two Gun, for putting the links in there too as well.
And vote for
Yeah,
Easy
bro.
Dick, even though he doesn't deserve it. 'Cause
That's
that guy's
right.
an asshole.
We appreciate you, man. Thank y'all.
All right, Brooks, thank you for being here. Final thoughts?
Well, speaking of Go Figure reviews, a new challenger has appeared. Violent Ken is finally here.
Yeah, we're gonna do that review this week.
Is that your first online purchase, Brooks?
Yeah,
This is
well,
second.
I bought a second actually because I got the Chun-Li, the pink Chun-Li first.
Nice.
But yeah, like I'm looking forward to that. And like one thing I hope that wish Jada Toys would do is like around Halloween time, maybe like put out some Darkstalkers just out of the blue. Like I'd love to have like a John Talbane figure.
Bro,
like,
do not fuck with me. Dude, they did Darkstalker figures.
Oh,
I would be
dude.
fucking broker
Oh.
than I am right now, man. Like, are
Yeah.
you serious? That would be fucking dope. The Mummy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's see.
Nankos.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
of them.
dude. Oh my god.
It would be awesome. Jada Toys is nailing it. They already did
Oh
those.
yeah, they're so good.
Our shop already sold out of Bison figures. I think I'm going to order
Yeah.
more, man.
Yeah,
That cape, dude. Oh,
yeah.
This shit's
It's
so
cloth and bendy wire. Sorry,
Dude, thank you so much for being here, man. Final thoughts?
Oh man, yeah, thank you. Catch me at Dr. Doom's Fan Club on YouTube and IG. I will be on Blood Splatter Chatter this Thursday night with the homies Link. I think that's Link's pick for Happy Death Day 1 and 2. Yeah, so check us out for that review. Other than that, yeah, thank you for having me. Shout out to everybody nominated, man. Shout out to Brooks and Jelani, to Robbie, to E, to Nick, to Fable. All the homies, man. Such a big weekend for
Dude,
PCP.
PCP Army taking it over this
He
year.
out
man.
here. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. So shout out
Winnie
to everybody.
Streets.
That's all for me, bro.
Steph, thank you so much for being here. Final thoughts, my man.
Check out Blood Splatter Chatter Thursday for Happy Death Day, and Happy Death Day to you. I did 1 and 2. Yeah, Thursday.
Hell
And
yeah,
this-
everybody go
this
check it out.
You redeemed yourself with last week's Paranormal Activity franchise.
Bro, I told you,
This
I was
one
like,
was
trust
worth
me.
it.
Trust me, we're starting soft. And we're going to escalate this thing over the course of a Horrorfest. Okay. So it's a ride. You know, you don't want to start the fucking roller coaster just going fucking balls to the fucking wall. Right. So like, whatever, dude. We like the majority of those Paranormal Activity movies. I just want everybody to know the basic consensus was we like 1, hate 2, like 3, hate 4, like 5, really hate
Really
6,
hate
and we
6.
think 7 is decent. So,
So every other one you're in luck.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Well, we were probably just too hype
Wasn't
on
a bad ratio.
Horrorfest starting. You know what I'm saying? There's a 0.5 leeway in the ratings here on Horrorfest anyway. But
Number
none
one
of those
was a
movies got a 5. No 5s in Horrorfest yet.
Mm-mm.
No 5. I don't know what y'all did for Carrie, actually, for the ratings. Was there a 5 for Carrie? Should have been. I bet Verno gave it a 5.
Verno went high. What did he go, Link? Do you remember? It was either 4.5 or 5. He was up
think-
there.
It was 4.5. I don't think we
Yeah.
gave it a 5. It got high scores though.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Hey,
I guarantee
Carrie-
you that
Carrie
next
is
week
awesome.
there will be
Yeah.
some 5 you digs for Hellraiser. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that
Yeah,
one.
for sure.
Um,
yeah.
Just on me alone and Fable. Fable's going to be there here, and that dude loves that fucking movie. That says a lot about him and his personal life. I'm just going to say. Anyway, Joe, what about you, man? Thank you so much for being here. Final
Yeah.
thoughts. You got some stuff coming up, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, first off, let's get Cardac to sell out at the distributor level. If you
Yeah.
missed out on Cardac, it's a one shot. You could get your shop to order it or pick up any copies they might have. Buy it. It's pretty good.
It actually is good, dude. And I have
Oh, you
people
did a great
message me
job
to
with
be
that.
like, "Oh my god, I didn't believe it. Joe Corallo wrote a really good comic for Archie." Like, and I was like, "Yeah, because Joe knows what he's doing. Joe knows.
Thank you.
You think Bo knows? Joe knows."
Thank you. But yeah, and then I'm editing this Green Hornet Miss Fury comic that was just announced like the end of last week. It's really coming along great. I think this is the debut of Federico Ceresa as the interior artist, and he's doing really good stuff. I'm genuinely excited for people to see this book. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
So,
Very
yeah,
excited. I know
pre-order.
some people very excited for that, especially because Alex knows pulp.
Yeah.
He's killing it right now with Michael over at Dick Tracy. So a lot of people very excited about this Green Hornet book, man. So
Yeah.
Knowing that you're editing it means even more, man. So,
Well, thank you. I appreciate
Joe, I really do appreciate your work. Just so you know, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I do. You're a good creator.
Thank you.
Regardless of what you think about the pacing of this film. All right. Once again, join us for the rest of Horrorfest Week 2. We got Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day to You over at Blood Splatter Chatter on Thursday night. Friday night is the monthly comic book review, the award-winning and freshly award-nominated monthly comic book review. So check that out Friday night at 6 p.m. Central Time. Dylan's Horror Show. Sunday night after Rockin' Robbie Live, Trilogy of Terror. But next week, Hellraiser. We've done the franchise, but this movie really deserves the spotlight just on itself. And I'm very excited to bring it to you. Horrorfest is just getting started. As my buddy Jelani likes to say, shit ain't even started yet. I promised you the most bloody and transgressive Horrorfest lineup yet, and you don't even know what's coming. You don't even know, but I'll tell you this. Verno announced this already. Me and him are doing Necromantic for a special bonus blood episode. Necromantic. We are having trouble putting the thumbnail together for that. We don't want to get banned off of YouTube. So I'm very excited to dive into that movie. But Hellraiser, next week, we're dipping out. Horrorfest, y'all. Keep it real. Station. Pop. Boom. 51 movies across 3 channels. The bloodiest, most transgressive Horrorfest lineup yet. The bloodiest, most transgressive Horrorfest lineup of all time, and it all kicks off on August 19th